So I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I am Black.
Harris speaking to the National Association of Black Journalists. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth blames former President Trump after a bill to protect IVF treatments fails for a second time.
He is the reason that IVF is in danger. He is to blame. He and every other Republican who cares more about staying good with Trump than about doing good for the Americans they are supposed to be serving.
The measure failed to advance 51 to 44. It needed 60 votes to pass. Sean Diddy Combs will remain in jail until his trial on federal sex trafficking crimes. The music mogul pleaded not guilty today. Stocks closed mixed today. You're listening to ABC News.
From the KMET Weather Center for Bowen Planning of the Pass area, as we head into the evening, skies will be clear, mainly clear through the night, below 52. Wednesday, a sunny day, high 76. Can't rule out a shower Wednesday night, low 52. For Redlands, as we end the evening, a clear sky, low clouds overnight, below 50. For Palm Springs, it'll be clear this evening and overnight as well, with a low of 66. I'm meteorologist Jim Manali for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play and the Apple App Store. As always, a huge shout out to the team. Mitch, Bill, and Sean, I love you guys. And to our special advisory committee that could be found at www.scbrtalk.com/advisory committee. Click on the link and learn about the incredible leaders doing the work. Of course, I am so thrilled and honored to be introducing today Josie Gonzalez, who has positively impacted the region for more than 25 years. Initially appointed as a City of Fontana Planning Commissioner in 1996 and also became chair of the Planning Commission, and 2 years later mounted her first political campaign. She was elected to the Fontana City Council in 1998 and served in that capacity until 2004. During those 8 years, her passion and appreciation for public service grew, and in 2004, Josie once again formed a political campaign, won the election, and became the first Latina elected to the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors. She honorably served as the 5th District County Supervisor until she fulfilled the term limits in 2020. In the private sector, Josie has been researching, purchasing, and developing properties for over 35 years. Owning and operating commercial and residential properties allows her to intimately understand the challenges and responsibilities related to the buying, selling, and valuations of properties. Gonzalez's public service career has been defined by her people-first approach, actively supporting early education and development for young children, reducing veteran homelessness, and supporting multiple projects to add affordable housing for seniors and working families. She was an active voting member of more than 25 different boards, committees, commissions, and councils, unanimously elected as chair of the Head Start Governance Board and First 5 San Bernardino County, overseeing programs that provide developmental services to children under 5 and their families. In 2007, she created and chaired San Bernardino County's Interagency Council on Homelessness, while also serving on the California State Association of Counties Homeless Action Team. At one point, these efforts resulted in a 50% reduction in veteran homelessness across the county. Currently, she serves as a board member of the Civil Rights Institute, Inland Southern California, and the Fontana Boys and Girls Club. Thank you so much for joining us today, Josie.
Thank you for having me on board. It's a pleasure.
Perfect. So, as you know, the first question I ask every one of my guests is to please talk about your journey. In this sense, it's your public service journey and what motivated you to pursue becoming a public servant.
The journey's had a very awkward beginning. I was never interested in politics. I was never attracted to it. And it originated with others finding something in me that they thought had merit and value that they wanted to see on initially the City of Fontana Planning Commission. The mayor and council at that time approached me, and they appointed me as a planning commissioner. I started from scratch. I had owned a family-owned business for over 50 years in the city of Fontana. We owned Mexico Lindo Restaurant at 9097 Sierra Avenue, and I thought I was doing my share of public service by serving good food, being consistent, and always having a very friendly relationship with all of my customers. Consequently, when I was appointed to the Planning Commission, I then began to encounter a completely different type of public service. And that initial public contact, I think, gave me such a wonderful, fulfilling feeling that I went on to run a campaign, throw my hat in the ring, so to speak, for the Fontana City Council. And I was elected out of a group of 10 candidates. It was an open seat, and I was elected in 1998 to the Fontana City Council, and I served until 2004. And then once again, the late Senator Nel Soto, and there were a couple of other elected officials who approached me and said, "We think you'd make a wonderful San Bernardino County Supervisor for the 5th District." I didn't think so, but they persisted. I ended up saying, this is an opportunity for me to demonstrate to my children, demonstrate to others that we never know what is possible unless we ourselves expose ourselves and create an opportunity for ourselves. And that's exactly what happened. I ran a year-long campaign from November of 2003 to the November election of 2004. And I was elected San Bernardino County Supervisor, and everything from there just began to catapult into a wonderful, blessed life of public service.
Absolutely. And you said it, right? Until we move beyond our comfort zones, there is no growth. And obviously, you've had the opportunity to not only grow as a public servant in the past 25 years, but also see the county grow and evolve, which is what we're going to be talking about today. The evolution of the economic landscape that we know as San Bernardino County and all the 24 beautiful cities that exist with it. So tell us briefly, Josie, what does the San Bernardino County area look like, and how is it broken up?
We are a beautiful, geographically woven map. We, together with Riverside County, are identified as the Inland Empire. So what does that mean? It means that no different as we have the Los Angeles port, the Long Beach port, where imports come in on ship. We call that our seaports on the Pacific Ocean side. Inland Empire is considered a dry port because from the west, as the goods movement begins, it has to come through San Bernardino County. We are the crossroads, if you will, of what ultimately is the most important goods movement corridor in the western part of the United States, everything west of the Mississippi River. We have the 15 freeway, the 10 freeway, the 215, and all of these freeways converse into the 15 freeway going up the Cajon Pass, where the goods movement corridor truly is encapsulated, because everything that leaves Southern California goes up through there, through the Inland Empire, and up into the rest of the United States, as I said, west of the Mississippi River. We geographically are identify ourselves not only with the people who choose to live here, but also the businesses that also choose to locate here, again, because of the logistical, geographical accessibility to doing their business.
Absolutely. So, as we know, and you mentioned, San Bernardino County is a very diverse and large county, the largest county in the country with 21,000 plus square miles of land. And it's broken down into basically 4 areas. And how would you describe those areas? It's the high desert, low desert, mountains, and valleys. So let's dissect each of them, because they're all unique and individual. Let's talk about the high desert, where the 15 goes through, as you mentioned, to distribute and serve the United States with their goods as they come in through the port of Long Beach and Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Primarily, in the beginning, we have the high desert. Everything from the Cajon Pass going north all the way to the Nevada state line, all the way to Arizona state line. We also have the low desert, everything out east of Redlands, Loma Linda, going out into Yucaipa, all the way to the Riverside County line. We have our mountains. Well, our whole mountain region has a very unique set of population and very different needs from the rest of the residents. And then we have the valley, which is us, and again we have a completely different way of life, a different approach, and different needs and different impacts. Each region, I will venture to say that there is also a 5th area, which I identify as the perimeter area that surrounds the 22,000 square miles that encompass San Bernardino County. These perimeter areas can be on the west, Montclair, Chino Hills. On the east, we're looking at Yucaipa. On the north end, obviously, we're looking at Needles, all the way up to the Nevada state line, and then on the south end, here we are with Fontana, joined up, abutting up to Jurupa Hills, that is in Riverside County. So again, diverse reasons why residents choose to live where they live, consequently creating a demand for a particular type of service that is delivered as economically and as efficiently as possible, that other residents, say in the mountains, say we want to be left alone. We like living our independent lives, and we enjoy the outdoors, and consequently, it makes us this very magical, diversely woven population.
So please talk about more on those areas. In addition to those that live in the mountains, talk about the attributes of our beautiful mountains and why people choose to live there and be left alone.
Well, as you know, here we are discussing government, and government can be quite intrusive. Government is there to be supportive, to ensure and preserve our laws and create that safety zone. Our residents, our mountain residents, are very comfortable living in a very quiet life, a very outdoors kind of life, and they require very little from government. They contribute in the sense that they work hard, they stay within their communities, they're very supportive of their townships, of their unincorporated area communities. And also we need to we need to recognize that Lake Arrowhead is at the very top of tourism, being able to attract tourists from all over the world. And that creates a synergy onto itself, because it's a bit of a contradiction where you have all this tourism and at the same time surrounded by a very quiet, very serene type of a forest environment. And so there is, again, that mixture, that ebb and flow of what attracts people to our high desert, to our mountain regions. In the high desert, as you can tell, as you can see, they've been growing at a very rapid rate. Again, everything along the 15 freeway has now become highly desirable as a logistics, how should I say, putting logistics on the map, where big business, big warehouses find it a very efficient way, not only to store, but to ship their merchandise, their inventory, and get it out quickly, thereby relieving much of the truck traffic congestion here in the valley. So there are different needs. The high desert has a lot of developable land. The leadership out there is either very conservative and wanting to maintain and retain their identity as it has always been. Others are open to development. And so there is a very progressive move in the high desert to take that inward look at themselves and say, who do we want to be? What do we want to look like in 25, 30, 40 years? Same thing happening pretty much. I think it's more of an impact in the low desert. Low desert, we have a lot of Joshua Tree is an example where we have a great deal of desert terrain. We have a lot of artists out there, people who have professional individuals from Los Angeles County who come and retire and create a beautiful retirement life doing what it is their heart desires. Many of them are poets, musicians, artists. Again, a beautiful fabric of treasures that we can find in the low desert. Again, very quiet community, very much unto themselves. And then at times, yet again, population growth, population interest in what is out there. We have a lot of baby boomers retiring who are looking for a specific type of a quiet life. And that begins to create a synergy that attracts stores, attracts, the general dollar store, attracts shopping centers. And consequently, there is that, again, that struggle, that ebb and flow on who do we as the low desert want to be in 25, 30, 40 years. The valley, here we are in the valley. We are, as I said, the major goods corridor. We have airports, Ontario Airport. We have the San Bernardino International Airport, which is SBD. And we are surrounded by our railroad junction. We have the largest railroad junction in the city of Colton. And again, working towards wanting to provide less impactful air quality. We work relative to logistics. How can we deliver the online demand to our residents without also delivering the impacts? That is a mathematical and a logistic struggle, and all of it is, I would say, initiated by our residents. And we need to find ways to accommodate their needs and at the same time protect the environment and be frugal with our decisions relative to preparing for the future and what is yet to come.
Absolutely. So when you talk about San Bernardino County being a logistical hub and the warehouses that we see, please talk about what those warehouses contained. Are they strictly distribution centers? Are they manufacturing facilities? And how does that lend to growing the economy of San Bernardino County?
Well, as I said, we are evolving, and not knowing exactly we don't have an instruction booklet that tells us how to grow a city. Many of our 24 cities in our county have been bedroom communities that are now awoken to what is happening in 2024, not only with the goods movement, but also with technology. And that technology brings all of the Amazon and online orders and eateries and so on and so forth. And they're included is the fact that we have the responsibility to accommodate this growth. Looking at what's taking place, how do we grow? We look at warehouses, as you mentioned. Warehouses can be looked upon as this big box that is intrusive, that is attracting truck traffic, and that is invading our communities. Or we can look at it as that's where my children's job, one of their jobs will be in the future. That's where my friend, my son, my business entrepreneur ideas can bloom, can take an origin, can take a beginning. Many of these warehouses are manufacturing sites. They are local small business sites. Many times we want to picture businesses locating downtown. We want to see them in a certain place because that's where they've always been. But again, we are evolving, we are developing into the 22nd century, and we need to understand that things don't stay the same. The one constant element in life is change. And these warehouses are changing the way we look at our business community. There may be 3 or 4 small businesses located in one warehouse. There may be huge stockpiles of readily ordered online inventory that doesn't need a big truck or 10 huge trucks to bring in the inventory. They bring it in, they stock it up, and as the online orders come in, that inventory is readily available. It's put on a smaller truck and delivered in a more efficient and effective way and cleaner way. There also are different types of manufacturing. We've got printing shops, we've got automotive shops, we have a great deal of entrepreneurial opportunities where 2 or 3 businesses come together, share the space, and are able to get a head start because they're sharing the overhead. That is critical in today's economy. These are new, very revolutionary ways of what was once starting out a business in your garage. There is a great deal of opportunity. We have our cities and we have large swaths of unincorporated areas, such as Bloomington and Muscoy, and all the way up into the high desert and the low desert. We use different names for different areas, and people just automatically presume that they're cities. They're not. They're unincorporated communities. And again, many of them strategically, ideally located along the goods movement corridor. And at the same time, things are evolving, as I have said. We once had Mount Slover right here at the Colton Portland cement plant. That was there for so many years, so many generations of our families worked there. My grandfather worked there. My father worked there. And today you look at Mount Slover and you say, where is it? It's gone. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you can see right here behind me, I have a sulfate-resisting Portland cement sack in which was commemorated to me when I was county supervisor in honor of the fact not only that I represented them, but recognizing the fact that an era was coming to an end. And I know that people may think that's the city of Colton, but in fact, the site of Colton Portland Cement is an unincorporated area coming under the complete authority of the San Bernardino County, and in this case, Supervisor Joe Baca, who is supervisor for the 5th District.
Absolutely. So we are coming up on a break. So everybody hold tight. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk Southern California Business Report here today with Josie Gonzalez, former board supervisor of San Bernardino County's District 5, as we explore the remarkable evolution of the county's economic landscape, gain unique insights into pivotal decisions, strategic partnerships, and transformative initiatives that have shaped the region's economic trajectory of one of California's most dynamic counties when we return.
Hi, I'm Dana Rademacher with MGR Property Management.
A lot of people wonder about the value that property management has for their property. Property management can include all property types, including residential, commercial, and HOA. It is valuable because property managers are experienced in what can happen at your property. We're aware of liabilities. We're able to do predictive and preventative maintenance. We know what is coming up with the changes in the weather, the seasons, how old certain aspects or different capital projects at your property are. We're able to best negotiate contract pricing, legalities with your tenants, and anything else that you may need to ensure that you're getting the full value of the property. If you're interested in speaking with the representative at MGR Property Management regarding your property management needs, you can visit our website at mgrrealestate.com, or you can call our number at area code 909-581-6600 to be connected with the representative.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily nonstop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only School of Entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
We are the Empire Strikers, the professional sports team of the Inland Empire. We are a fast-actioned and community-inspired pro indoor soccer team. Our mission is to inspire the Empire. Home games, community events, watch parties, and youth camps are all back. Professional indoor soccer is back. Join us and come watch the greatest show on turf at Toyota Arena or on Twitch. Visit www.theempirestrikers.com for more and any information.
Welcome back, everyone. Yvette Walker with ABC News and Talk, Southern California Business Report, here today with Miss Josie Gonzalez, former board supervisor of San Bernardino County's 5th District, as we explore the remarkable evolution of the county's economic landscape. Today, we're gaining unique insights into the pivotal decisions, strategic partnerships, and transformative initiatives that have shaped the region's economic trajectory of one of California's most dynamic counties. Thank you so much for being with us today, Josie.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here with you.
Beautiful. So prior to the break, you gave us a beautiful rendition of what the overall landscape of San Bernardino County looks like. And it took up the first segment because it's so diverse and it's so large. So thank you so much for sharing that perspective with us. Now let's talk about what Fontana looked like in the 60s versus how we see it today.
Wow. What a difference a day makes, if we will. It's been, a good 60 years. And when I first came to the city of Fontana with my parents, Sierra Avenue was 3/4 dirt, empty lots. I remember that Fontana Days was held in the vacant lots, dirty dirt lots on the corner of Sierra and Marigold. In right where Kaiser Hospital is today, between Marigold and San Bernardino Avenues, and Valley Boulevard. And I remember people on horseback riding around amongst the rides, the little carousel rides, and the kids running around eating hot dogs and cotton candy. And I'll tell you what, nobody had to add salt to their food because all the dirt was just flying around and landed on everything. Nobody cared. It was a very carefree, very easy way of life. We have talking about shaping our region. Kaiser Steel was here. It was the main employer for miles and miles around. We were the major exporter of steel during the war. And consequently, all of that energy that was going on in there had, I would say, an opportunity for new recipes to make what is today the city of Fontana. Kaiser Permanente came about because of Kaiser Steel. And they wanted to provide health care for their employees and for anyone that was injured. And it began in a very small type of a clinic that blossomed and grew into what today is Kaiser Permanente. As a matter of fact, the site of where Kaiser is now on the corner of Valley Boulevard and Sierra Avenue was the site of the largest pig farm that provided all of the bacon and ham and products for the army and for the military during the war. So you can see that now Sierra Avenue in Fontana is the major, most used motorized vehicle used, consumer used, client used, motorist corridor in the Inland Empire. I don't know. I know it sounds outrageous, but that is the absolute truth. We have the most volume of cars that use Sierra Avenue as their conduit between what is Riverside and going up into the North End and consequently to the 210, the 215 and the 15 freeways.
Wow, that's remarkable. So since you have such a great view going back to the 60s in Fontana and, of course, San Bernardino County, please talk about those cities that you have been able to observe throughout that time and share the ones you feel have absolutely nailed it when it comes to economic growth, healthcare, education, integrating all of its value into better serving the community and evolving to meet the community's needs.
We've seen a great deal of growth. We've seen politics at work. I will tell you that city of Chino and Chino Hills, they used to be one. And one seceded from the other, and they became independent. I remember the fight. One is closer to the Los Angeles County line, and as I stated before, there's a whole set of individual residential dynamics that take place that allow Allow or have people choose where they want to live. So Chino and Chino Hills became two. The same thing with City of Highland and City of San Bernardino. Highland used to be part of the City of San Bernardino, and they seceded and they incorporated, and look at them. For many years, they have successfully moved on and created their own city synergy that makes them who they are today. The city of Rancho Cucamonga, look how the leaders of what were unincorporated areas, Guasti and Cucamonga. I remember as a little girl, go out there to Cucamonga and there was nothing. Leadership came together and designed what today we call Rancho Cucamonga. It is a beautiful opportunity, a point of destination. Who hasn't gone to Victoria Gardens? Who hasn't gone to the Ontario Mills Mall? And again, having the Ontario Airport, look what happened there. LAWA, the Los Angeles World Airports, bought Ontario Airport, and for years we could not get out from under their I would say their control, and they would give us all the flights they didn't want from LAX, and we would have all the leftovers. And here, about 15 years ago, we got together between the City of Ontario, Senator Feinstein, and San Bernardino County. We got together, and I believe Congressman Gary Miller also was very instrumental in helping us to get control back. We bought the airport back, and look what we have today. International flights providing great traveling services and experiences for our people. So you see, these are cities that are progressive, that have taken advantage of opportunity, grown with the time and their residents' needs, and have been able to stay on the margin of growth. That's been very important. So I'm happy to see that these cities have done exceedingly well. Yucaipa is growing by leaps and bounds. Again, very unique population that chooses to be there. They choose to live there. And I think that's important because we have a one-size-fits-all kind of county. Individuals can come in and choose where they want to live comfortably.
I absolutely love that. So when a community wants to see a change, right, within their city, how can people realize that? And how should the community select the leadership?
First of all, people select where they want to live based on what they hear, friends that they have, acquaintances they have, people they come and visit. Sometimes they go on vacation and experience something that really connects with them. And they say, we want to move there. We really like this lifestyle. And consequently, by word of advertising from our own residents who are content, who are happy, who are see an economic return, not only for their property values, but for the businesses that they own, that becomes the best advertising that you can possibly have to attract new, younger populations that ultimately will carry on the future development and viability of our areas.
So let's talk about having a seat at the table. We were having this conversation and how that translates, how that looks when it comes to local leadership that determines the quality of life for our communities.
Absolutely. The leadership is determined by the voters, by the residents. And that's why it is so imperative, as you have brought out, to look at the different cities and see at what a level of attractiveness, what level of development, what level of social standards do they have, all 24 of them. And you look at the engagement from the residents, from the voting public, as to whom they choose to lead their city, their community, their lives into whatever given direction. So as you say, it is imperative that people become involved and look at what is their mayor, who is their mayor, who's their city council, who are their school board members. Education is key to the viability and future success of any given community, let alone a city and ultimately the county. The higher the education, the less crime, the more job opportunities there are, not only because of their employable talents, but because they start businesses or they attract businesses here because we have the educated workforce. Consequently, whether it's water board, school board, whether it's public utilities, whether it's parks and rec, planning commissioners, county supervisors, all of these positions of leadership are critical. And within that educated fold, people are not afraid. The public is not afraid to pick up the phone and call their representatives and say, this and this issue is going on in my neighborhood. And I don't know, who to turn to. I'm asking for help to resolve this. And there begins a communication that many times leads to an interest of becoming involved and thereby bettering their communities.
So with that said, Josie, what should the community be looking for in their leaders when they are, engaging, when they want to contribute, when they want to be a part of the conversation? What does, the ideal leader look like in your view?
My personal view, an ideal leader asks questions, listens, and communicates openly with the public. Being in leadership, being in government is not about telling people what to do. It's about identifying through communication with your ward, with your district, with your voters, what in fact is needed. What is wrong, what needs to be fixed, what is missing that needs to be attracted, and how best to do that with the support of the community. I think it's imperative that the voice of the people be identified through that one elected that ultimately brings about the desired results and needs are resolved in their given community. Telling people what to do is not the trick. Listening, following the rules, explaining why things are done in what particular pattern or methodology is always works with the public. Sometimes when there are disagreements or a disconnect, it comes from lack of communication. So being able to listen, being able to understand the residents you represent, your geographic areas, and being able to have an open mind to introduce the future to your community, I believe makes a whole well-rounded elected official.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, we have 24 beautiful cities here in San Bernardino County. And when you look at how diverse and how dynamic they all rely on different economic tax revenues, right? So the tax revenues that are reinvested to support services, infrastructure, health, education, everything that a community relies upon. And they're so diverse. So what do you think is a good way to make up for the tax revenue necessary for cities to keep up with today's infrastructure costs and upkeep? It's evolution when some cities may not have the same tax base as other cities.
You are correct. Again, that is directly determined by the leadership. The leadership listens to its residents if they want closed borders, where they don't want growth, where they don't desire new, influx of businesses and burgeoning, if you will, types of communities, then yes, they will have a more limited general fund, and thereby that limitation limits them to their being able to pay for safety, for fire, for street services, any type park services. And again, that is determined by the decision of individuals who choose to live in a small city. Larger cities, They have more of a revenue generating type of a mindset. They know that if they're going to be able to have a good policing element in their community, if they know they're going to have street sweeping, they're going to have great landscaping for their parks, they're going to be able to attract entertainment, if you will, nightlife. All of these things are paid for and supported by the tax revenue. Cities generally depend on their sales tax generated revenue, anything that comes from stores, purchases, and counties receive their revenue from property taxes and other types of community funded organizations also receive funding from the county, from the property taxes, some sales tax, and ultimately we also have to recognize that we don't get to keep a great deal of our money. Most of it is sent off to Sacramento and then on to Washington, D.C., to the federal government. We pay state tax, we pay federal tax, and all of this is what goes not only to run our nation, but trickles down right into the very street that we get onto when we leave our house. It's all paid for by tax revenue, and it's important, again, to realize, as you say, what makes some general funds healthier than others. It's determined by the leadership and the direction that the residents want to see their city grow or not.
Absolutely. So what would you say the roadmap to success looks like? And is it going to be different for every community?
Different for every community. Every city in San Bernardino County works diligently after every census to look at the population growth, look at the geographic areas where that population growth took place, and thereby planning through a community development plan that is identified by a blue ribbon committee that is formed within each city to address the future needs, development needs, healthcare needs, commercial, industrial, residential needs, and ensuring that through this planning, zoning, the different types of zoning required to ensure particular or specific growth, developmental growth takes place, that then the Planning Commission and the City Council and ultimately also the Board of Supervisors approve these new zoning zones for areas that will help preserve either vacant land for future development, or they preserve a particular use so that we don't have a commercial and industrial and residential all bunched up together, unless that is what the direction that the city chooses to go to. I'll give you an example. We now are becoming a bit of a mixed use on the south end of Fontana. We have warehouses that have come in and replaced a lot of blight, a lot of the old chicken ranches that had a great deal of how should I say, fly infestations. And they are now, all of that is gone. We have a lot of clean air. And we have reduced crime. Warehouses don't produce crime. They don't produce the type of nightlife that many times attracts crime. And consequently, the crime rate in these areas has gone down. But at the same time, as I said, it's become a mixed use. We have within close proximity residential, commercial, and industrial. That is a very unique mixture of zones that only works if it's well planned. And this plan was originated easy 25 years ago when I was a planning commissioner. We called it the Southwest Industrial Plan, or SWIP. And here we watched it now come to fruition, and it is blending. Has it taken an adjustment? Yes. But Would we prefer to go back to the fly infestation, to the crime, to the blight, to the dust every time we had the Santa Ana winds? No, we would not. So there's a fair exchange that happens as we plan for future communities. And our cities do that, and that helps to ensure the viability of future economic revenue generating opportunities. It will attract new businesses. It will show that we have a very forward thinking type of leadership, and that becomes very attractive to the commercial world, to the entrepreneurial world. Who knows who will one day come and relocate here? No one ever thought that we would be chosen as one of the 5 Amazon sites nationwide, and we were chosen. Think of that. Think of all the jobs that are generated there that open opportunity for our youth. So yes, we look at how do we develop, how do we make this happen, and at the same time we're learning from mistakes. But everything that we do is done with the distinct intent to bring opportunity, to create revenue generating opportunities, to ensure a good education, and to keep our families together by creating affordability in our housing, affordability when it comes to starting a business. All of this makes a great deal of difference in growing our communities from the inside out.
Oh, I absolutely love it. And I'm so sorry we're coming up to the end, but quickly, Josie, please tell us what you hope to see the continued evolutionary direction of San Bernardino would be as we head into, as you mentioned, the 22nd century.
I want to see all of our cities grow and thrive and become bastions of opportunity for people from the outside looking in, and for the people who call San Bernardino County their home. We strive for that in leadership. We want that. We want to make sure we have good health care plans. We want to ensure that we have top-notch education that, again, attracts families here. And as I said, education improves and increases the wage earning capabilities for a lifetime. This is what I believe our leadership wants. Look at us, take a good look at us. Wherever you're listening to us, come and take a good look at us, visit us, and fall in love. We know we have a treasure trove of opportunity here, and I'm very, very happy to have been on your show to make sure that you shared my vision, my drive, and my passion for this county.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being with us today, Josie.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. So for everybody listening, don't forget to find us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com. Don't miss my interview with Lupe Valdez, Director of Public Affairs at Union Pacific Railroad, who joined the Union Pacific Railroad as the Director of Public Affairs in July of 2005. She serves at the Los Angeles Basin, including the Los Angeles, San Bernardino, Riverside, Ventura, Santa Barbara, and Imperial counties. Her responsibilities include working with local elected officials and community groups in Southern California. Lupe attended the University of Southern California, where she earned both a bachelor's and master's degree in public administration. Next week, we will have Senior Advisory for Strategy and Public Affairs. Jesse Melgar is Senior Advisor for Strategy and Public Affairs at the University of California Possibility Lab. After serving as Senior Advisor and Director of Engagement for California at UC Berkeley Goldman School of Public Policy. Prior to this role, Jesse worked in state government for nearly a decade, most recently serving as Communication Director and Press Secretary for California Governor Gavin Newsom during the unprecedented crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic. He previously led communications for United States Senator Alex Padilla during his first term as California Secretary of State, Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara during his tenure as state senator, the California Latino Legislative Caucus, and Equality California. You do not want to miss it. We will see you all next week.